Hey guys, so today's video I'm really excited about because I'm going to be testing out the new Anastasia stick foundation. I'm pretty sure there's already a ton of videos out there, but I really wanted to save this foundation to try it out for the first time on camera, as well as do a couple check-ins throughout the day and let you guys know how it holds up at the end of the day. I picked up mine in the shade Warm Natural, and I do have more normal to dry skin. I did go ahead and prime my skin a little bit with the Too Faced Hangover RX primer beforehand because this works best on my skin for more matte foundations. And this foundation does claim to have a more natural matte finish. I pulled up on the Anastasia website a little bit about the foundation, so I'll go ahead and read you guys the claims, a little bit more about it. So this foundation is sold in Sephora right now. I'm not sure if Ulta has it, but you can purchase it, of course, on the Anastasia website. It is $25, which I think it's a really good price for a high-end foundation, so I was really excited to hear the price. It says it is a highly pigmented buildable cream formula that leaves a natural matte finish. You can apply it all over as a foundation, sheer it out like a tinted moisturizer, or use it for highlighting and contouring. And they do have shades that are specifically for highlighting and contouring. I did swatch the banana shade when I was in stores, but I wanted to test out the formula before I went out and bought multiple shades. It does come in 28 shades. I think Anastasia has done an amazing job at trying to create a shade for everybody, especially if you follow them on Instagram. They do a lot of swatches and comparisons against different skin tones. I still was a little bit confused, so I waited until they came in stores and I went ahead and tried them out in Sephora, and that's where I picked up mine. Like I said, I got mine in the shade Warm Natural. There were a couple shades that were similar, but I found that this one was the closest match for when I am self-tan. And pretty much, I would say 9 times out of 10, I am self-tan. This is what the packaging looks like. It's a little bit small. I still think you get a pretty good amount of product for the price that you pay. So that is all that you'll get in this stick foundation. I think it's a pretty good amount, but I have heard from a lot of other people you do have to kind of apply a couple layers in order to get kind of like a more medium to full coverage. So I think you might end up going through this pretty quickly. You get 0.32 ounces in the foundation, so I'm not really sure how that compares to other stick foundations out there. I don't really feel like it's too much, but I'm not complaining since the price was a lot more affordable than the other ones sold in Sephora. So we're just going to go ahead and apply this directly to my face since I already used a primer. I like my primer to really set in with my skin before going ahead and applying my foundation, so that's why I went ahead and did it ahead of time. So I'll just go ahead and do one side at a time, that way you guys can see the difference. And I will be trying out a sponge. However, I do find with most stick foundations it's much better to use a brush when blending them out, but I'll go ahead and just do it to one side just to see if there is a difference. So I'll go ahead and start off with the sponge. So I definitely think it looks a little bit patchy once you're using it with the sponge, which is something I kind of expected because I do have other stick foundations and I don't really like using a sponge. I feel like it just soaked up most of the product because I don't even feel like I have a ton of coverage. So I'm just going to kind of go back over that a little bit and go in with my brush. And the brush I'll be using today is by Target, and it's just their complexion brush. So first impression, I'm not really loving the look of this foundation. I'm not sure if it's because I went in with a sponge at first, but I just feel like it looks kind of patchy. So I'm kind of having to go over and apply a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a side by side so you can kind of see a little closer look of what I'm seeing. Overall, I do think it kind of gives you more of a light to medium coverage. I think you'd really have to build up multiple layers in order to get a full coverage out of this. I do have like a tiny little breakout right around like my nose, and that I can still see, and I did build up just a tiny bit more around that area. So if you have like any breakouts, I think it will definitely peek through this foundation where you have to go in and conceal those. I do find that it was a little bit harder to blend. It looked a little bit patchy. Did not blend very well using just the sponge. I'm going to go ahead and go on to the other side. Alright, so this is with the foundation all over, and overall I think at the end, after building up a couple layers, it does end up looking pretty good on my skin. But I mean, so far, just from how much I had to use, I don't know if I'm really going to like this foundation. I feel like it was a lot of work to make it look really even and more of like a medium coverage on my skin, and it was a little bit harder for me to blend out. It is pretty matte on my skin, but I can definitely see how they say more of a natural matte, because I don't think my skin looks completely like super dried out. Even though I do have more normal to dry skin, you can still see a little bit of dew. It still feels a little bit tacky, so it doesn't really dry down to a powder finish. It still kind of looks like skin, but I mean, still matte. It's definitely not like a dewy foundation. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish off the rest of my makeup, and I'll check back in with you guys in a little while. Alright, so it's been almost 4 hours since I've had this foundation on. So I did go ahead and of course apply some concealer underneath my eyes, a little bit on my chin and the center of my forehead, but not too much. I didn't apply it as much as I normally do because, like I said, I really want to see how the foundation wears throughout the day. And anywhere where I did put concealer, I used my NYX HD finishing powder. I didn't use a finishing powder or setting powder on the rest of my face, and it pretty much did kind of dry down to more of a matte finish. So with this foundation on me, I can definitely see myself getting away with not using an all over face powder. I didn't use a setting spray, but I did use a little bit of my ROSEWATER spray from Heritage Store, only because it doesn't help prolong my makeup. It only just kind of adds a little bit of like a slight bit of dewiness, and I feel like I was looking and feeling very, very matte. I'm going for more of a matte foundation. There are others that I have tried that I think look better and set better on my skin. I can see where it looks a little bit patchy already on my nose, and it just looks kind of dry on my skin. So not crazy about it so far, but I'm gonna try to get out of the apartment today just so I can really put it to the test and see how this wears. It is 91 degrees, so it is really, really hot outside. I think I'm actually gonna go to the park, the dog park, and edit there. That way I can actually get a little bit of sun and see how this foundation wears. So I'll check back in with you guys at the end of the night. So I'm not actually going to end up wearing this foundation as long as I thought. I ran into a little situation which I'm sure you guys don't even care about. I was planning on going to the park to edit, and I realized that my Final Cut crashed and it did not save any of the footage of the video that I filmed yesterday. But I will be refilming that today. That's why I'm ending this video short, so I can wash my face and basically redo that whole video that I did last night all over again. I really didn't go outside like as long as I was planning on, but I did like go pick up some food. I ran to the grocery store really quick. I will take a couple photos, that way you guys can see how it looks with flash and without flash. I do feel like it was a little bit hard to work with. If you have maybe oily skin, this is easier and creamier on your skin, easier to blend. Maybe you won't have as much trouble as I did. And even comparing it to other stick foundations that I have tried in the past, I love my e.l.f. one, and that one's only $6. I use that one all the time. And even though it's not cruelty free, I did purchase it a while back, the Makeup Forever foundation stick. I actually did a comparison of those two side by side, in case you guys missed that and you are looking for more reviews on stick foundations. I definitely think out of all of those, the Makeup Forever one is the creamiest. Well, this one, it's exactly what it claims, more combination to oily skin. So I don't really fit that category. I definitely think you can make it work. Like how I did, I used my Too Faced Hangover RX primer. Even if you don't have this primer, maybe just using like a good moisturizer before going in with this foundation stick. You're not going to get a ton of coverage. It's definitely buildable like it claims to be. So I mean, everything it says, it's what it claims. Just mainly my skin type and kind of what I look for in a foundation is the reason why I probably wouldn't reach for this very often. I think it's worth trying out if you have the right skin type for it, and if it's the type of coverage you're looking for, because it's definitely not going to give you full coverage, or else you'd really have to build up multiple layers. But even me doing so, I think I did about 2, almost 3 layers in some areas, and I don't find that it looks very cakey on my skin. I really enjoy stick foundations because they're just really easy to apply and great for every day. So I hope this video was helpful to you guys. Still kind of like getting used to these review first impression type videos, so if there's any like important step that I left out in this video, please let me know down below in the comments. That way I can fix it for the next time I review a foundation. I really do enjoy reviewing foundations, so if there's any new or, you know, foundations that have been around for a while that you guys are wanting to see a review about for someone like me with more normal to dry skin, just let me know also. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you had not subscribed, I would love it if you did, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!